son and his family were moving across country. It was a very big and difficult relocation for them to sort of start over. And I just wanted to help them. So I got myself into debt. I knew I was gonna, and I was prepared for it. But as I started considering how am I going to alleviate this debt, and looking at the assets that I have, right? I'm not going to sell my condo. I'm not going to sell my car. And I thought of my life insurance as an asset. And I never thought about it that way. It is a personal asset. So that's what got me thinking about the process. And then, you know, I took it from there. I had a term insurance policy. So I thought, oh, it probably won't, it's not worth anything, not saleable, etc. But I mean, you guys showed me otherwise. So it worked out really well. Well, so when I realized that this was a possibility, I used AI to ask a lot of questions, and it gave me a curated list of companies that purchase life insurance policies. And I chose just a couple, like I three or four that I reached out to. And I think Q Life was the first or one of the first to respond. So, when you get that kind of, rapid sort of interest, that's why I followed up with Q Life. I'm really grateful that I did. Oh gosh, once I connected with Lisa, she was just wonderful. She was upbeat and kind and funny and so detail oriented. Seniors have to be careful about any sort of transfer of an asset or money thing. Always on guard for a scam of some sort. So I felt comfortable with Lisa immediately, and I vetted the company, and I knew it was everything about it was upstanding, not to worry. She was so thorough. I've never had a rep call me so often. Now, here's what's happening now, and this is coming next. And she was just with me every step of the way. And then when we got close to the closing, we connected with a woman named Kim. She was amazing. She was so detail oriented and kind. And so, yeah, the experience was excellent. And it's really hard in this day and age to find that level of customer service. It was excellent. I would have to say how thorough and detail oriented your people are. And because, I'd never heard of this concept that a term policy could be convertible and could be sold. And I had to teach myself some things, but Lisa also explained everything in detail, in terms of what I was going to, the process and how it worked. So I would, again, it goes back to the people. We talk about AI, but really we need that kind of connection when you're dealing with an asset that you're going to sell. Because at the end of, at this time in my life, I have to be extremely careful. So, working with Lisa was it for me. The whole process went pretty quickly. So I had no idea how long it would take. But again, it was being guided every step of the way. I had to provide medical records. There were things I had to do, but I had, or they could do it for me. Like Lisa always offered the option. I think there was somebody on the team once I signed a HIPAA release that could do it for me. But, again, it was being guided every step of the way that felt really good to me. I think I first connected with Lisa early December, and we just closed last week, and today's March 3rd. So less than 3 months from start to finish. I had a big hunk of debt on a 0% credit card. So I wasn't paying interest on it, but it was even at that a lot monthly to pay. So I cut that in half with what I got. And it's for me, it's always about reducing debt. I don't have a lot of debt. I don't like being in debt, but I didn't have any assets other than this that I could use to, bring the debt down. So that's what I did with it. And I did not go out and buy a car or do anything fancy, but it makes me feel good to know that that debt now is so manageable. Well, like that, that was the most important thing because, when you were on, I called it, the fixed income thing. But, I didn't have a lot of money coming in to put towards debt. So I wasn't quite sure how I was going to reduce the size of this debt. So it's a big, big relief to have that much of the debt taken care of. Oh, I would say get in touch with Q Life. Lisa, if possible. I don't know who else is out there, but my guess is they're all pretty good, just like her. She loves her job. She told me a million times how much she loved it. But yeah, I would say you can research it like I did, or you can just talk to a human being, and they will tell you what it's all about. It's a very interesting process. So don't be overwhelmed by it. When you have somebody like Lisa and Q Life, to support you, anytime you have a question, you have somebody you can call, a human being, and she picks up the phone just about every time, unless she was in a meeting. So that's what I would say. Use the biggest asset I think Q Life has is people like Lisa and Kim. She mentioned that it feels good to she's helping people. That's the way she feels, and that the insurance I had, the term insurance, I may never have lived to even get it, or I may outlive the policy and then I don't get anything. I've spent 50,000 on premiums over 30, 15 years, whatever it is, and I don't get anything from it. So I rolled the
Right.
dice and it worked out for me perfectly. Because I got value out of an asset I didn't even remember that I had, and I got peace of mind because I paid off some debt. So it doesn't get better than that.